Welcome back. You're watching Newsx. My name is Vineet Malhotra. Well, IndiGo has cancelled over 400 flights in the past 24 hours alone. The government has finally cracked the whip and asked to restore normal operations. The price across airlines has also been capped. But is that enough is the big question. Well, joining us now is Congress Member of Parliament Sasikanth Senthil, who's going to talk about this. Mr. Senthil, appreciate you taking out the time and speaking with us. So, well, this is a big concern. This is something which has affected lakhs and lakhs of people. And what's shameful is, sir, is that this kind of a technical issue or this kind of an operational nightmare could have been avoided. But the DGCA, along with the airline, which is IndiGo in this case, failed to see the repercussions of the new FTDL rules that came about or were suggested almost over a year ago. What do you make of this issue and who do you think should be punished for this?
Thanks a lot for this opportunity. In fact, it is an unprecedented visuals that we are seeing. It is really worrisome. As you rightly pointed out, this is something which is not a crisis which has happened without any notice or something which could not be avoided. It was waiting to happen for the last 2 years since the first notification came in 24. Because the whole idea, the implementation was done in a very phased manner so that therefore airlines do not have to, obstruct operations. So other airlines could do it and they were doing it. But DGCA, knowing very well there is a huge market share of IndiGo, I don't understand how they allowed this to happen. And I would squarely blame the DGCA and the ministry for not doing its job and for putting people in this situation. And worst thing is that, even when the crisis was unfolding, there was complete apathy from the government. How can you let people be stranded in airports for hours together for simple things like, to get back their baggages? It's like I don't understand what went wrong with the DGCA, except for the fact that, they were doing everything else than their job, what they had to do. So it is completely a failure of the government, the governance system.
Right, but Mr. Senthil, the DGCA says that the same principle, the same rule was also applied on other airlines, which includes Air India, which more or less has the same amount of fleet. Why did they not buckle?
No, that's the point, that the DGCA is supposed to regulate and monitor also. Who else is to monitor? I just want to ask the DGCA, how in this 2 years, what kind of instructions or monitoring you were having on the implementation of this whole thing? It's something which is done for the safety of the passengers and the pilots and the airlines. It's an absolute essential that the pilots are well rested. There's no second thought about it. In such crucial matters, if there is no monitoring and implementation system in place in DGCA, is that what the ministry is saying? I simply can't understand, fathom. This is a complete failure of, or rather, the second option is something this has happened with cognizance of the DGCA, that they let this, they gave this long rope for IndiGo for reasons best known to them, and they should explain to the country why they did that.
Mr. Senthil, this is a deep-rooted problem, and this is also, in a way, the government's fault. We are a duopoly when it comes to airlines. There is no fair system of having newer players do well in our country, and this is also something which reeks of the issues from the past that airlines such as Jet and Kingfisher and Deccan and even Go Air have had to face. Do you think that this crisis is a small microcosm of the larger, treatment that the aviation sector receives?
No, not only in aviation sector. I think this is also a microcosm of the whole direction which this government is going. This government is for monopolies, duopolies, all oligopolies, and never a very market fair approach. So they have made policies, they have made provisions in the name of ease of doing business and have destroyed the market. In my opinion, the competitive market in many areas have been completely decimated in this government. If you take the MSME sector, you will hear the painful nature in which the government has been dealing with their businesses. For this government, ease of doing business is only for corporates, and within the corporates, one or two of their chosen people, and all that is linked to in some way corporate financing of their political party and stuff like that. There is no second thought about that. I think this is all a vicious cycle, and in fact the country is going through one sample of what is happening in a sector. The same thing might be
And Mr. Right, Mr. Senthil, if you commit a white collar crime anywhere in the world, you go to jail. There are financial implications. IndiGo is sitting on piles and piles of money right now, which is giving it interest, which it can use to facilitate Lord knows what. Who should go to jail in this case from IndiGo?
Yeah, I think to start with, because the government is not even talking about penalizing IndiGo because it knows it is in fault, because this has happened with their knowledge. And I think it's high time that they talk about compensating these people who have been suffering in this state in this last 24 hours. And I was just about to say this is waiting to happen in other sectors also, energy, everywhere. This kind of monopoly building business is going to create ruckus in this country. This country is not built for this.
Right.
And in fact, aviation sector is just one sample. I'm very clear about that. The lot of questions need to be answered. Okay, one simple thing like any government would do is that, okay, there is a crisis which unfolded. Where was the government? Nobody was there in the airport.
Mr. Senthil,
Mr.
Mr. Senthil, do you think that the aviation minister, Mr. Naidu, should resign at this point in time? Two major fiascos have happened under his watch. Of course, we are talking about the Ahmedabad crash and now this.
Absolutely. No, this is something which you cannot even, explain. Now, I can't even understand when this is happening for the last 4 days. There are 10 to 15% of people who cannot cancel their travels. They had to travel for job interviews, for exams, for death of a loved one, and they are looking for alternatives, and the ticket prices have been skyrocketing for the last 3 days. Was the government sleeping? All they could have done was immediately put a cap and at least made sure those things can happen. So which actually directs and shows us the priority of the government is not that. It is only posturing and helping their corporate friends to come out of office, no matter what pain the people of this country go through.
Mr. Senthil, appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much. I know you have a flight to catch, but you still spoke with us. Thank you so much. It's appreciated.